But when we're sad, we keep everything inside. And it starts to fester, but we never... See, like, I get mad.
Okay? Makeup, hair! She came, and I just stopped.
At 84, Ann-Margret, a name synonymous with Hollywood glamour, now tears through its gilded facade, not with the dazzling smile that once lit up the silver screen, but with a chilling blacklist. This is a list of 6 men, once kings of fame, who used fists, explosives, and even fake nude photos to control and destroy her. For nearly 6 decades, the shadows of these powerful figures lurked beneath her vibrant public persona, forcing her to endure silence. But today, at 84, Ann-Margret is done with the fake smiles and the fear of a tarnished reputation. She has rewritten that list, and the world is about to know. The names on her list have sent tremors through Hollywood's very core, revealing a dark, decaying underbelly where abuse and systematic silence thrived. But perhaps most chilling of all isn't a famous name at all, it's the Nameless Man, a faceless producer so feared and protected his identity remains hidden. He didn't just ruin careers, he crushed women's souls, and his story may be the darkest secret Ann-Margret has ever revealed. Ann-Margret, born on April 28, 1941, in the snow-dusted Swedish village of Valsjöbyn, entered a world where girls were taught to be silent, obedient, and submissive. Yet this little girl with fiery red hair and defiant eyes carried an indomitable spirit, refusing to accept a predetermined fate. At just 5 years old, her family moved to the United States, and in less than 2 decades, the immigrant girl transformed into the most explosive sex symbol of the 1960s, famously dubbed the red-haired Marilyn Monroe. If Monroe was the golden doll, Ann-Margret was an untamed, wild flame. Her Hollywood debut in 1963's Bye Bye Birdie swiftly launched her into global stardom, especially after her iconic role opposite Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas. This romance, though outwardly passionate, marked the beginning of deep, hidden scars, revealing the sinister shadows that lurked beneath her blazing red dresses and captivating smiles. For decades, a series of scandals remained hidden. She was pressured into highly revealing roles against her will, threatened with acid attacks by a possessive lover, smeared by the press as a mafia sex doll, and suffered a miscarriage at 14 weeks due to a doctor's injection mistake, an incident covered up by the studio. While many of her peers were discarded by Hollywood like expired products, Ann-Margret stood defiant, rebellious, and bloodstained. She endured life-threatening incidents, including falling off a stage in 1972, breaking 5 ribs, crushing her face, and nearly dying. Yet in less than 6 months, she returned, her healing scars masked by makeup, smiling at those who had tried to bury her. She garnered 2 Oscar nominations and 5 Golden Globe wins, and notably, both Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra publicly declared their desire to marry her. But none dared to keep her for long. Every dazzling light casts a shadow, and Ann-Margret's shadow was cast by powerful men who inflicted immense hurt, pushing her to the brink of depression, alcoholism, and almost suicide. After nearly 60 years of silence, her decision to finally speak out at 84 is a courageous act of defiance. Elvis Presley, the king on stage, the tyrant in love. The first name on Ann-Margret's blacklist is none other than Elvis Presley, the iconic king of rock and roll, whose charisma made millions scream. Yet, behind the dazzling spotlight, Ann-Margret discovered a darker persona, a ghost of possession, intense jealousy, and chilling control. They met in 1963 on the set of Viva Las Vegas, and from their very first encounter, Ann-Margret sensed a man who could destroy her, and he did with ruthless precision. Their relationship was a tumultuous collision of 2 storms, passionate, wild, and public, yet inherently dangerous. She once described it with profound clarity. Loving Elvis was like holding a ticking time bomb. He loved me, but never allowed me to be myself. Elvis's jealousy escalated beyond mere possessiveness. It bordered on paranoia. Every time Ann-Margret appeared with a male co-star, even a simple smile would ignite a furious rage within him. He would lash out, throwing phones at walls, smashing televisions, and tearing her dresses in front of bewildered assistants. The depth of his control was terrifying. On one horrifying occasion, he locked their hotel room door, extinguished the lights, and forced her to kneel before him. "Did you sleep with him?" "Look me in the eyes and lie," he demanded, his voice laced with menace. Ann-Margret, in a moment of stunned silence, offered no response, and that's when Elvis's hand struck her cheek. There were no immediate bruises, but the impact left an invisible fracture, a wound that would never truly heal. A behind-the-scenes clip, reportedly seen by only a handful of crew members, allegedly captured another terrifying incident. During an argument, Elvis was seen shoving Ann-Margret into a wall. A panicked cut echoed through the set, and the director immediately ordered total secrecy. Ann-Margret was conspicuously absent from filming for 5 days. The press was fed a fabricated story. Ann-Margret was suffering from acute laryngitis. The devastating truth was far grimmer. She had sustained a torn lip and a chest contusion. Desperate to escape the destructive relationship, Ann-Margret attempted to distance herself from Elvis, yet every attempt at avoidance only brought on relentless midnight phone calls filled with screaming threats. "If you leave me, I'll tell the whole world you're a Swedish actress with a bad reputation who got to Hollywood by sleeping with 7 directors," he would bellow. But Elvis's cruelty did not stop there. He orchestrated a campaign of defamation, sending anonymous letters and manipulated suggestive photos of her. He even dragged her innocent family into high-end prostitution rumors, a malicious act that nearly caused her mother to suffer a stroke from the shock. Ann-Margret reflected on her torment, making a crucial distinction. "I don't hate Elvis Presley the artist. I hate who he really was. A man who didn't understand love, only ownership. A man who wanted me as a doll, one that never talked back." She believed that had she not finally broken free from Elvis in 1965, her fate might have mirrored that of Marilyn Monroe, dying alone on sleeping pills in a locked room, her true self forgotten. Elvis may have scorched Ann-Margret's heart with his violent control, but the next man on her list would burn her reputation, dignity, and even her family's peace with a single, devastating sentence uttered at a high society party. The second name's actions were so cruel that even Hollywood itself remained silent, paralyzed by fear. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment "OK" if you find this video interesting. Thank you. Frank Sinatra, the man who killed without a gun. To America, Frank Sinatra was an icon. The voice, the ideal lover, suave, wealthy, effortlessly moving among presidents, the mafia, and Hollywood's brightest stars. But to Ann-Margret, he was the first man who ever made her truly wish for death. They first met in 1965 in Beverly Hills. Despite the 25-year age difference, his deep velvet voice and hypnotic eyes drew her into a relationship that was both intoxicating and profoundly dangerous. "I never truly loved Frank," she confessed, "but he manipulated me with power, with empty promises, and in the end, with a coldness I had never seen in any other man." The turning point came one night in late 1966. Ann-Margret was seized by panic when she realized she was over 3 weeks late. She was pregnant, and the father was none other than Frank Sinatra. Instead of joy, Sinatra's reaction was chilling. He immediately made her sign a non-disclosure agreement, then dispatched her to a private doctor known for performing illegal abortions for starlets of the era. Ann-Margret pleaded with him, desperate to save her unborn child. "I begged him. I said, I can raise the baby on my own. I don't need your money. Just don't make me do this." Sinatra's response was devoid of empathy. He stood up, took a slow drag from his cigarette, looked down at her with cold eyes, and delivered a devastating ultimatum. "If you don't, I'll make Hollywood believe you're a Swedish, defamatory rumors who slept her way to every role." Overwhelmed by fear and shame, she underwent the abortion in a dark, unlit room. Months later, as Ann-Margret prepared to begin filming a new project with Sinatra, she was abruptly dropped from the film just a week before production commenced. There was no explanation, no warning. The director remained silent, offering no word. Later, an FBI insider hinted at the sinister truth. Sinatra had fabricated a file, falsely alleging Ann-Margret had sexual ties with mafia bosses in exchange for roles. This fabricated file was then accidentally leaked to rival studios. Overnight, Ann-Margret's A-list status evaporated. She became a pariah, someone no one dared to touch. The press cruelly branded her an asset, the Chicago Mafia's sex pawn. Her mother, reading the headlines, fainted at the dinner table from the sheer shock. Ann-Margret considered suing Sinatra, but in the 1960s and 70s, he was virtually untouchable. A close confidant of President Kennedy, the undisputed leader of the Rat Pack and the reigning king of the entertainment world, anyone who dared to oppose him simply vanished from the artistic landscape. Sinatra's method of destruction was insidious. "Frank didn't need a gun to kill me," Ann-Margret articulated. "He killed me with reputation, with power, with whispers passed around polished dinner tables. And no one believed me. They only believed that smooth, crooning voice." She emphasized the profound psychological damage. "Frank didn't hit me, he didn't violate me emotionally, he did something crueler than all of that. He made the world turn its back on me, then watched me slowly die inside in depression and alcohol and a crumbling career." It took her over 7 grueling years to claw her way back to the screen, but even after overcoming such immense adversity, one particular phone call from Frank years later haunted her more than any spotlight moment. His chilling words, "I told you not to forget your place, now do you see?" While Elvis struck with fists and Sinatra crushed with power, the fourth man on her list would prove to be the most dangerous of all, a predator, a sex offender, and the holder of illicit tapes that would torment Ann-Margret for the remainder of her life. The Nameless Man, the producer who crushed women's souls. Not every monster in Hollywood possesses a Wikipedia page. Not every predator stands in front of a camera, visible to the world. Some hide in the shadows, pulling strings from behind luxury offices, champagne glasses and million-dollar handshakes. Ann-Margret refers to him only as the Nameless Man. He was a profoundly powerful producer in the 1960s, a man who commanded multi-million-dollar deals with major studios. His face was unknown, his name dared not be spoken, yet every actress who entered his office emerged with an unsettling, eerie silence. Ann-Margret was just 23 when she first encountered him. It was a meeting at MGM to discuss a promising film titled The Golden Cage. But instead of offering her a script, he laid a stack of photographs on the table. They were nude photos, blurry yet undeniably her. "I froze," she recalled, her voice still laced with disbelief. "I had never taken those pictures, but the face was mine, and the body looked terrifyingly real." He poured himself a drink, lit a cigar, and with a voice that slithered like a snake, delivered his chilling threat. "If you turn down this role, these photos will accidentally end up on the centerfold of Penthouse next week." Ann-Margret stood to leave, but his hand swiftly locked the door, trapping her. "Don't forget, I don't have to do anything," he sneered. "I just have to speak and you'll lose everything." Those illicit photos never went public, but they were discreetly circulated among producers, directors, and male actors within the industry. Ann-Margret once stumbled upon a copy herself, tucked inside a famous director's personal notebook in his dressing room, nestled between casting notes. "I don't know who still has them, but I know I was torn apart, bleeding and pieced back together as a toy in the hands of powerful men," she reflected with profound sadness. This nameless man inflicted no physical beatings, installed no hidden cameras, shed no blood. And that, Ann-Margret stated, was precisely why he was the most dangerous of them all. She was never physically struck by him, yet every time she opened a new script, a lingering doubt gnawed at her. Was I cast for my talent or because I stayed quiet for someone years ago? "I once believed I climbed the ladder of success on my own," she mused. "But now I wonder how many of those steps were built on endurance, clenched teeth, tears, and humiliation." At 84, Ann-Margret has transcended the need for another role. She no longer fears being erased from the Walk of Fame. "I carved my name with real scars, with real pain, and no one can take that away," she declared defiantly. "And I refuse to die while a nameless devil still laughs in the dark." Can you guess who the Nameless Man really is? Drop your wildest theory in the comments below. Your guess might be closer to the truth than you think. James Woods, the voyeur and the perverted smile behind the lens. Not everyone has heard of The Hunted Desire, a dark and bizarre movie project launched in mid-1979. It was abruptly cancelled just 10 days into shooting. The director vanished, the producer went silent, and no one in the industry dared to even utter its name. The reason? A single name: James Woods. While the public recognized him as an intelligent, sharp actor, often lauded for his portrayals of smart and dangerous villains, Ann-Margret witnessed a terrifyingly different face. She described him as disgusting, silent, stalking, like a vulture in the shadows. "I once thought Elvis and Sinatra were the worst nightmares of my life," she confessed. But no, James Woods was a sick obsession, a shadow I felt behind me every time I changed clothes. By the third day on set, an unsettling feeling began to creep over her. James's gaze, she recalled, slid across her body like a bloody blade. It wasn't jealousy or overt threats. It was a silent, icy, twisted lust that sent shivers down her spine. By the seventh day, she knew something was profoundly wrong. A lighting technician who had been fired just days earlier secretly approached her. He handed her a VHS tape, revealing a horrifying truth. On it was footage of Ann-Margret changing clothes, removing her bra, bending down and wiping sweat, all secretly filmed. "No woman could watch that tape without shaking," she asserted. "It wasn't just my body exposed. It was my dignity, my privacy, my soul stripped bare under the lens of a sick voyeur." When Ann-Margret confronted the director about this egregious violation, he simply lowered his head, trembling, and offered apologies. She eventually discovered the horrifying scope of the invasion. James Woods had installed at least 3 micro cameras in the women's dressing room, 2 in the bathroom, and 1 inside Ann-Margret's personal trailer. The entire crew was aghast, but instead of taking legal action or going public, the producers opted for a cover-up. They paid hush money, shut down the film, and issued a fake statement blaming a lack of funding for the abrupt cancellation. James Woods was never sued, never arrested, and never publicly named in connection with the incident. To this day, not a single word about this disturbing event has surfaced in the media. "I don't just hate James Woods, I fear him," Ann-Margret admitted. "I've known control freaks, power-hungry men, but Woods, he was a monster. He didn't need to hit or scream. One look was enough to freeze my spine for the next 40 years. Ann-Margret sought legal counsel, but the advice she received was chillingly clear. Hollywood doesn't need another scandal. Stay silent if you want to survive in this business. And she did stay silent for decades until now. The next chapter in her life story is soaked in blood, a so-called accident during a film shoot that nearly claimed her life. And once again, Hollywood remained deafeningly silent. What you're about to hear next will send a chill down your spine, exposing the raw cruelty hidden beneath the studio lights. Sam Peckinpar, the director of Explosions, Blood, and Deep-Seated Hatred for Women. If James Woods violated Ann-Margret's body through hidden cameras, Sam Peckinpar, the legendary director known for his blood-soaked westerns, used an entire film set as his weapon to punish her. His motive was simple. Ann-Margret refused to take off her clothes. "I've never seen anyone hate women the way he did," she stated, "and I never thought I'd leave that set with my face still intact." In 1972, Ann-Margret was cast as the lead in The Train Robbers, a Western action film helmed by Peckinpar. He was notorious for his violent directorial style, heavy drinking, and a palpable disdain for anything he perceived as sweet or feminine. From day one, Peckinpar made his stance unequivocally clear to Ann-Margret. "If you want to play a real Western woman, you have to strip the dress, the mask, and that wet Hollywood starlet image." Ann-Margret, with her unwavering resolve, refused. From that moment on, every scene she filmed transformed into a form of silent torture. The breaking point arrived on the 19th day of shooting. The script called for Ann-Margret to flee from an explosion, a staged effect that was supposedly safe. But the moment the cameras rolled, she felt a real searing heat blast across her face. The explosion was terrifyingly large, undeniably real, and it scorched a significant portion of her dress while she was still wearing it. Ann-Margret screamed, bolting off the set in agony. She suffered second-degree burns on her thigh and hip, with the bitter taste of smoke still lingering in her mouth. As the fire crew rushed in to assist her, Peckinpar merely smirked, uttering a dismissive, chilling remark. "Oops, I guess I used unsafe pyrotechnics by mistake." He then added with grotesque indifference, "But she survived, didn't she? So we're good." Ann-Margret demanded an investigation, but the producers immediately deflected responsibility, conveniently blaming the technical team. Peckinpar, unperturbed, continued filming and drinking. He even had the audacity to tell the press Ann-Margret's just an actress who can't handle pain. If it were Marilyn Monroe, she'd have finished the scene, then killed herself like a real star. Later, an assistant revealed the horrifying truth. Peckinpar had deliberately ordered live explosives to teach that woman a lesson. Ann-Margret's hatred for him stemmed not just from the physical burns, but from his malicious intent. "I don't hate him because he burned me. I hate him because he wanted me to burn." The incident left deep professional scars too. "I hate him because for years after I couldn't accept another action role. I hate him because he turned me into a walking ghost on set, no longer confident, no longer fearless." Following this traumatic event, Ann-Margret plunged into a deep depression and underwent nearly 9 months of intensive physical therapy. Yet, when she returned to the screen, she still managed to smile, meticulously hiding her burn scars beneath makeup, masking a spirit that was no longer carefree. Prepare yourself, because the next story is not about an accident, but about an act of severe altercation, physical violence in a hotel room involving just 2 people, leaving a scar that would never truly fade. Do you believe Ann-Margret did the right thing by finally revealing Hollywood's darkest secrets at 84? Comment yes or no below. Steve McQueen, the masculine icon, the abusive lover. Steve McQueen, revered as the king of cool, embodied the eternal image of rugged masculinity, freedom, and rebellion. He was the man who captivated Hollywood and made millions of women swoon. But to Ann-Margret, he was far from a loving partner. He was a toxic storm wrapped in leather, with a charming smile and a devastating fist. Her love for Steve McQueen was akin to living with an unloaded gun. He possessed an undeniable charm, intelligence, and even a gentle side, but one wrong pull of the trigger and you were no longer yourself. They met in 1970 at a party in Bel Air. Ann-Margret was at the zenith of her fame after her role in Carnal Knowledge, and Steve had just emerged from a messy marriage. Their shared loneliness drew them together, creating what initially felt like a beautiful explosion, but one that soon began to rot from within. Just 3 months into their relationship, Steve began making demands. He insisted that Ann-Margret cease acting in films that involved intimate scenes. On one occasion, after she accepted a kissing scene in a new project, his rage erupted. He smashed a wine bottle against the hotel wall and violently threw her script into the swimming pool. His words were cutting: "If you want to kiss other men on screen, then go ahead and sleep with all of Hollywood." The worst night of their relationship arrived on March 14, 1971, at a Santa Monica marina. The two became embroiled in a heated argument after Ann-Margret declined to attend a dinner with Steve's new friends. He accused her of embarrassing him. When she dared to push back, the situation escalated violently. "I pushed back, and in an instant I was no longer standing," she recalled. McQueen punched her hard in the chest, sending her crashing into a steel railing. He then grabbed her by the hair, dragged her into the yacht cabin, and hurled her against the wall with the full, brutal force of a former motorcycle mechanic. The devastating physical toll included 2 broken ribs, a fractured left jawbone, and severe bruising across her back and hips. Ann-Margret was rushed to the hospital in a state of profound shock. Yet, when questioned about what had transpired, she simply uttered the lie, "I slipped." Her reason was chillingly pragmatic. "Because I knew if I told the truth, I'd be the one destroyed, not him." She once loved Steve, clinging to the belief that her love could somehow heal the beast in him. But she came to a painful realization: love can't change a man who doesn't want to change. And when love turns into fear, that's hell. After that traumatic night, she severed all contact. Steve attempted to reach out multiple times, even showing up unannounced at her film set. But Ann-Margret warned security, refused to meet him, and never once looked back. The final man on her blacklist had no name, no face, but he left Ann-Margret with a fear so profound it permeated her every nightmare. Ann-Margret has finally stepped out from the oppressive shadows of these 6 men: Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, James Woods, Sam Peckinpar, Steve McQueen, and the enigmatic Nameless Man. She is no longer merely a victim. She is transformed into a powerful witness, a blazing fire. "I used to be the decoration in a male-dominated Hollywood banquet," she proclaimed, her voice imbued with a newfound strength. "But today, I'm the one rewriting the menu, and I choose to speak so the girls who come after me no longer have to stay silent. Her courageous act is a powerful testament to resilience, a beacon of hope, and a forceful demand for accountability in an industry long shrouded in dark secrets. Tekashi 6ix9 Ine's career trajectory was marked by significant legal troubles. In 2015, he pleaded guilty to inappropriate conduct involving a minor in a music video. Over the next 2 years, he was either implicated in or admitted to a number of violent offenses. A judge cited a list of crimes that wreaked havoc across the city. These early actions set a troubling precedent for his public image and legal standing. Daniel Hernandez, known as Tekashi 6ix9 Ine, emerged from a generation of rappers who gained initial recognition on SoundCloud. He quickly became known for his distinctive appearance and aggressive musical style. His collaborations with big names in the industry also brought him into the mainstream spotlight. He stood out from his peers due to his controversial persona. In 2018, he further damaged his reputation by cooperating with authorities in criminal cases, which softened his racketeering and firearm convictions. Despite hopes for early release, he was sentenced to 24 months in prison and a subsequent 5 years of supervised release. After leaving prison 2 years later, he was widely labeled as controversial in his community and among the mainstream. He continued to dig himself even deeper with several high-profile feuds. Consequently, Tekashi 6ix9 Ine's music now remains as low-profile as ever. Was Tekashi 6ix9 in right to testify against his former crew, even if it meant being labeled a snitch? Comment yes or no. Ryan Adams. Ryan Adams' standing in the music industry suffered a severe blow in 2019 when 7 women came forward to the New York Times with allegations against him. They claimed that Adams used promises of professional support to pressure them into inappropriate relationships. If they resisted his advances, he allegedly would use social media to sully their public image. These serious accusations exposed a dark side to his influential career. Ryan Adams was a prolific singer-songwriter who had garnered great acclaim and clout in the music industry. Many fellow musicians respected his talent and counted on him in their own careers. He was known for his prolific output and artistic integrity. His contributions were highly regarded within the music community. He was a trusted figure among his peers. Adams initially denied these allegations but later took full responsibility for his history of misconduct. However, many perceived his apology as formulaic and insincere. Some observed that he made a public apology but did not do it privately or make amends privately. Since the scandal, some critics suggest that the material he has produced suffers from a tone-deaf tone of self-pity. His music industry clout has dried up and the events taught him who your real friends are. Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis's reputation as a wild child rock and roll rebel tragically transformed into that of a total creep in 1957. This dramatic shift occurred after he settled down with Myra Gale Brown. During a press conference following 4 triumphant concerts, Lewis inadvertently revealed Myra's age. It then emerged that the 22-year-old Lewis had publicly lied about his third wife's real age, as she was a teenager. Adding to the scandal, she was also his first cousin once removed. Lewis was an early rock and roll pioneer who always caused a commotion. He was known for his energetic performances and rebellious persona. His raw talent and innovative piano playing made him a significant figure in the nascent rock and roll genre. He was a powerful and influential musician who pushed boundaries. His music had a raw, untamed quality that captivated audiences. All hell broke loose after the revelation of Myra's age. The subsequent concert cancellations and boycotts devastated his popular appeal. His records were pulled from the stations, he was blacklisted, and he could not do a TV show. No one would touch him. While he remained an active musician for the rest of his life and his influential work is still celebrated, Lewis himself would never recover from his union with Brown. His personal life will forever raise questions about his legacy. Kanye West. Kanye West's downfall began with baffling statements throughout the 2000s. This included poorly phrasing racial concerns after Hurricane Katrina and famously hijacking an award acceptance speech by Taylor Swift. He then polarized the black community by downplaying racism and aligning with right-wing politics through the 2010 S. This culminated in the 2020 S with his embrace and representation of extremely controversial rhetoric, particularly around sensitive topics. Kanye West achieved astonishing renown as a musical artist and cultural figure. He was celebrated for his groundbreaking music and influence across various industries. West was a highly influential artist who pushed boundaries and achieved significant commercial success. His career was marked by innovation and widespread critical acclaim. Many considered him a genius in his field. These actions dealt a destructive blow to West's music career, business brand, and social media presence. Despite widespread backlash, he consistently finds platforms for his outrageous views. Many link his antics to either mental illness or mere attention-seeking. However, as West continues to create scandal, he can't even count on public pity. There is a sense of sadness and tragedy among those who have known him for a long time. His legacy is now profoundly complicated by his controversial public persona. R. Kelly. R. Kelly's glamorous image first cracked in 1994, when, at 27 years old, he briefly married underage singer Aaliyah. His indiscretions were further suggested throughout the 2000s by allegations and a hard-won legal battle. During this period, the public remained divided on his innocence or guilt. Many felt that R. Kelly believed himself invincible and untouched due to societal enabling. This initial scandal laid the groundwork for his eventual downfall. R. Kelly was once celebrated as the king of R&B and one of music's biggest stars. His talent was undeniable, and his music achieved widespread popularity. He crafted numerous hit songs and albums, influencing many artists in the genre. His artistic contributions were highly regarded by fans and critics alike. He was a significant figure in contemporary R&B music. The debate surrounding R. Kelly's conduct ended in subsequent decades. Accusations of severe misconduct led to widespread boycotts. The hit docuseries Surviving R. Kelly played a crucial role in killed public sympathy. This public outcry inspired a series of trials leading to convictions on multiple charges. Kelly began his 31-year prison sentence in 2023. While his once celebrated art is beyond salvaging, his victims have finally received justice. Ian Watkins. Fans of the Welsh rockers Lost Prophets were devastated in 2013 when the band broke up. The reason for their disbandment was profoundly shocking. In the previous year, lead singer Ian Watkins was arrested for possession of drugs and illegal content. The overwhelming evidence against him, coupled with his apparent lack of emotion or guilt, was deeply disturbing. He eventually pleaded guilty to multiple counts of serious, inappropriate conduct. Lost Prophets had enjoyed considerable success in the rock scene. Ian Watkins, as the lead singer, was a prominent figure. The band had built a strong following and released popular music. Fans admired their unique sound and live performances. Their breakup came as a shock to many, but the underlying reason was even more so. Watkins's actions had reportedly been reported to police as early as 2008. The police watchdog, the IPCC, confirmed that multiple forces had passed information about Watkins to South Wales Police since 2009. This horrific scandal not only destroyed Watkins's career, but also besmirched his bandmates' legacies. Lost Prophets' music and merchandise have since been basically blacklisted from the public. Watkins is currently serving 29 years in prison for his serious crimes. There is no doubt he exploited his celebrity status. DaBaby. DaBaby publicly sabotaged his career in a dramatic fashion at the 2021 Rolling Loud Festival in Florida. During his performance, the rapper made remarks that were wildly condemned for being insensitive. Despite widespread criticism, DaBaby continued to stand by his controversial statements. Leaders in the LGBTQ community labeled these comments as misinformation. This public display of insensitivity quickly led to severe professional consequences. DaBaby had risen to prominence as a rapper known for his energetic performances and hit songs. He had achieved significant commercial success and garnered a strong following. His music often featured confident and assertive lyrics. Many artists admired his rapid ascent in the music industry. He was a familiar presence at major music festivals. In the aftermath of his remarks, performances at numerous festivals were promptly cancelled. Furthermore, many other artists publicly condemned his comments, distancing themselves from his views. Despite offering multiple apologies, these efforts were not enough to turn the tide back in his favor. The music he released subsequently also failed to regain his lost popularity. His actions became a stark example of someone needing to think twice before speaking. His career trajectory illustrates the severe repercussions of public intolerance. Katy Perry. Katy Perry's reputation faced a significant blow in 2024 when plans for her anticipated comeback were quickly deflated. This occurred upon the revelation that she was reuniting with controversial producer Dr. Luke. The announcement of her new single, Woman's World, also generated considerable negative commentary, not widespread admiration. Furthermore, her participation in Blue Origin's all-female spaceflight drew strong backlash, being criticized as tone-deaf. These events contributed to a public perception of insensitivity and questionable career choices. At her peak, Katy Perry was celebrated for creating incredibly catchy pop anthems. Her music, though perhaps not considered highbrow, possessed a remarkable ability to become instantly memorable. Songs could be heard just once and they'd be stuck in your head forever. She was widely recognized as a pop princess with numerous global chart-topping hits. Her music brought joy and widespread appeal to millions of fans worldwide. However, over time, the quality of her music declined and her public image deteriorated. Following her album's commercial failure, Perry also garnered negative attention for her mystifying live choreography. The excitement surrounding her once vibrant career has significantly diminished. The perception of Katy Perry as an artist the public once adored now feels more like a nostalgic teenage dream. This suggests a permanent shift in how she is viewed by many. Tim Lambis's reputation was irrevocably shattered in 2013 when news broke of his arrest. He was taken into custody for allegedly plotting harm against his estranged wife. Prosecutors emphatically stated that this was a cold-blooded plan that Tim Lambis fully intended to follow through on. He was subsequently convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison for this act. This criminal act severely damaged his standing. Lambis found fame as the charismatic frontman of the metalcore band As I Lay Dying. He was known for his powerful vocal prowess and commanding stage presence. The band had achieved significant recognition in the metalcore scene. Fans admired his talent and his contributions to the genre. His music resonated with a dedicated fan base. No amount of artistic ability, however, could counteract the impact of his shocking actions. Lambis was released from prison in 2016 and has since attempted to revive As I Lay Dying. However, he is now the only remaining member of the band. Further diminishing his image, videos of him allegedly being abusive towards his third wife, Danielle Norris, were leaked online. Additionally, a separate video surfaced showing Lambis mistreating a pet, prompting a petition for an investigation. These successive controversies have ensured that his personal actions continue to overshadow his musical career. Chris Brown. Chris Brown's reputation was forever altered in 2009 when he was arrested for serious personal controversy. The victim of this incident was his then-girlfriend Rihanna. This highly publicized incident sent shockwaves through the music industry and among the public. It marked a dramatic turning point in his otherwise successful career. The immediate aftermath saw widespread condemnation and a severe blow to his public image. Brown had achieved significant success early in his career, with his debut single, Run It, becoming a #1 hit. He followed this with numerous other radio hits, establishing himself as a prominent R&B artist. His talent for singing and dancing captivated a large audience. He was seen as a rising star with immense potential in the music industry. His early career was marked by considerable popularity and critical acclaim. Unfortunately, more legal troubles and controversies continued to follow Brown over the years. For instance, in May 2025, he was arrested in Manchester on a warrant related to an alleged 2023 incident at a nightclub. Despite these ongoing scandals, Brown has managed to maintain a successful recording and performing career. However, his bad behavior has eclipsed his music considerably. His personal conduct frequently overshadows his artistic achievements, creating a lasting negative perception. Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry's remarkable legacy as a musical pioneer is significantly complicated by his personal life. Amidst his initial stardom, Berry was arrested and charged with violating the Mann Act. This legal trouble led to a sentence of 5 years in prison. This early controversy marked the beginning of a series of personal scandals that would tarnish his image. His groundbreaking contributions to music were continually overshadowed by these incidents. There is arguably no artist on this list who has changed music as we know it quite like Chuck Berry. He was an undeniable visionary and a foundational figure in rock and roll. His innovative guitar riffs and storytelling lyrics profoundly influenced generations of musicians. Berry's impact on popular music is undeniable, and his artistic legacy is secure. He is remembered as one of the most important figures in music history. However, other controversies continued to follow Berry after his release from prison. These included being accused of inappropriate conduct. He was also faced with multiple lawsuits regarding privacy concerns at his restaurant. While Berry continued to perform even in the years leading up to his death in 2017, his public image remained decidedly tarnished by these revelations. His personal conduct left a lasting stain on his otherwise revolutionary career. You won't believe who's next. #4 is guaranteed to shock you. Keep watching and comment OK if you're ready for the surprise. Diddy. Diddy, born Sean John Combs, transformed from an aspirational figure into a total villain following a series of devastating events. In 2023, his ex-singer Cassie Ventura sued him for abuse and other serious allegations. This was quickly followed by the public release of surveillance footage of Combs attacking Ventura. More lawsuits rapidly followed, with numerous people coming forward with claims of serious misconduct by Combs. These revelations shattered his public image. Sean John Combs, known by many names including Puff Daddy and P. Diddy, was once seen as an aspirational figure. He had achieved multi-layered success across music, fashion, and business. Combs was a titan of the music industry, building a formidable empire. He was a symbol of ambition and entrepreneurial spirit. His influence and success were widely celebrated. While Combs had faced legal troubles and accusations of unsavory behavior over the years, these were never enough for him to be truly cancelled. However, the 2023 lawsuit and subsequent video evidence provided irrefutable proof of his alleged actions. He was then hit with a criminal indictment, with a trial beginning in 2025. Prosecutors will need to establish the foundation for a RICO charge, explaining how he conspired with more than one person, and how he was running Bad Boy Records as a corrupt organization. As the trial unfolds in May 2025, court proceedings have grown increasingly explosive, with new witnesses and sealed evidence sending shockwaves through the courtroom. Once protected by power and fame, Combs now appears cornered. If prosecutors succeed, his empire could collapse entirely, and prison may be the final chapter of his legacy. CeeLo Green. CeeLo Green's reputation began to crumble in the early 2010s due to his hostile responses to critics online. It definitively broke when he was accused of inappropriate conduct and charged with an incident involving an intoxicated woman. Green publicly maintained his innocence, controversially posting that victims remember the experience. He also made so many disturbingly ignorant comments that his account was temporarily shut down. These actions caused a significant public outcry. CeeLo Green was a towering figure in the music industry, known for his work in both hip-hop groups and as a solo soul artist. He expressed that his life feels purposed and his music feels purposeful, which made him feel empowered. His distinctive voice and unique musical style earned him widespread recognition. He was celebrated for his versatility and prolific output. He had established himself as a beloved and respected artist. A lackluster apology proved insufficient to save one of music's most prolific stars. The scandal had severe repercussions, costing him numerous gigs and nearly destroyed his career on the screen. His record sales also suffered significantly as public support waned. While CeeLo manages to stay busy, he now largely operates outside of public view. The accusation against him was described as untimely and unfortunate. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson, born Brian Warner, faced a significant loss of support in 2021 when multiple individuals, including ex-fiancée Evan Rachel Wood, alleged years of serious misconduct against him. These accusations created a severe rift, causing his niche group of supporters to finally dwindle. He became embroiled in legal battles with his accusers, which raised concerning testimony against all parties. This marked a critical turning point for his public image. As Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner built a career out of shocking the public. He was an industrial metal pioneer known for his subversive brand. His provocative artistry often pushed boundaries and challenged societal norms. Manson saw it as his job as an artist to be out there pushing people's buttons and making them question everything. He was also a key figure in discourse following the Columbine High School massacre, often seen as a poster boy for fear. While there was disturbing evidence suggesting that Manson's horror isn't just for show, and his defenders may have since dwindled, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department ultimately dropped the charges against him in 2025 following a criminal investigation. Despite this, the serious nature of the allegations has profoundly damaged his reputation. The cycle of allegations has been highlighted as bleeding into so many problems in our country and our society that we are not even aware. Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke's big pop crossover with Blurred Lines in 2013, while commercially successful, also spawned extensive criticism. The song faced considerable backlash for its questionable lyrics and crass video. This controversial hit marked the beginning of a decline in his public perception. His appearance at the 2013 VMAs further exacerbated his image issues. These events significantly eroded the genuine respect he once held as a musical talent. Prior to Blurred Lines, Robin Thicke had established himself as a genuinely respected musical talent. Although he might not have been a widely recognized household name, he had successfully carved out a solid niche for himself in R&B. His earlier work was appreciated for its soulful qualities and artistic integrity. He was regarded by many as a skilled R&B artist. His pre-Blurred Lines career demonstrated a steady and respected musical trajectory. The release of Paula, an album written for and about his estranged wife, Paula Patton, flopped spectacularly upon release. This public attempt to win her back further damaged his career. During their subsequent divorce proceedings, Patton made serious accusations against Thicke. She alleged serious misconduct and inappropriate behavior. These grave accusations cemented the decline of his public image. The legal and personal controversies completely overshadowed his musical endeavors. Moresy. Moresy's reputation began to decline as he became increasingly known for his spoken words rather than his sung ones. He made insensitive comments on various controversial topics. These included remarks concerning race, immigration, and highly sensitive subjects. Furthermore, he publicly expressed his support for the far-right for Britain movement. While he had always possessed a reputation for being outspoken, for many, his views veered into indefensible territory. As the frontman of the Smiths and throughout his solo career, Moresy was renowned for his distinctive artistic contributions. He was celebrated for his sensitive, witty lyrics and achingly beautiful voice. His unique poetic style and melancholic delivery resonated deeply with a dedicated fan base. He cultivated a significant following for his thoughtful and often provocative musical expressions. Moresy was considered an icon of alternative music, and although his controversial statements do not completely undo the quality of his best work, they undeniably make it more difficult to want to revisit them again. His public pronouncements caused a significant rift between him and many of his former admirers. The strong opinions he vocalized created a barrier for fans who previously admired his artistry. Moresy's legacy remains complex, marked by both artistic brilliance and deeply polarizing public commentary. Ike Turner. Ike Turner's public image and finances were further tarnished by substance use and legal issues following his divorce from Tina Turner in 1976. Tina's revelation that their marriage was plagued with allegations of mistreatment and control cemented his downfall. This exposed a horrific truth behind their revolutionary musical partnership. The biopic, What's Love Got to Do With It, later cemented these realities in pop culture, despite the Turners both stating the film embellished their relationship. In the nascent days of rock and roll, Ike Turner was a true visionary. He innovatively transformed the blues, crafting his unique Ike Turner sound. His significant breakthrough came when he helped his wife Tina achieve her own stardom. Together, the couple revolutionized pop music with their dynamic performances and groundbreaking sound. They were a formidable force in the music industry, captivating audiences worldwide. However, Ike Turner and Tina no longer share the same esteem in public memory. The widespread knowledge of his alleged behavior significantly overshadowed his artistic contributions. After the release of the biopic, many people distanced themselves from him, saying, "Sorry, we're not going to help." While Tina Turner is deservedly immortalized as the queen of rock and roll, Ike Turner's legacy, despite his pioneering role, is forever overshadowed by controversy. Drake's reputation took a serious hit during a high-profile feud with fellow rapper Kendrick Lamar in 2024. The conflict escalated with diss tracks that accuse you of serious acts and otherwise insult you and your character. Ultimately, Drake did not emerge victorious from this highly public lyrical battle. This outcome noticeably damaged his standing within the hip-hop community and among fans. The intensity and nature of the accusations significantly impacted his commercial standing. Watching Drake's ascent in the music industry was genuinely thrilling for many. His best work showcased both his exceptional ear for great hooks and his impressive ability to navigate complex topics. He established himself as a prominent and respected figure in contemporary music. Albums like Take Care and Nothing Was the Same solidified his reputation as a thoughtful and talented artist. His music resonated deeply with a broad audience. Despite his earlier successes, quantity soon began to overtake quality in his releases. His once endearing, heartsick musical persona started to feel less authentic and more grimy. This shift contributed to a gradual decline in public favor. While Drake continues to release music, he has fallen out of favor commercially. It is now difficult to imagine him regaining the profound respect he commanded during the peak of his career. His public image has been significantly tarnished. Love this video? Show some love with a like and a subscribe. Hate it? A like would still be awesome, and your feedback in the comments will help me improve. Gary Glitter. Paul Gadd, famously known as Gary Glitter, saw his career die on the spot in 1999 when he was convicted of possessing illegal material. This criminal act led to his registration as a serious offender. He served 2 months in prison, but upon his release, despite claiming repentance, he continued to fraternize. This shocking criminal history permanently overshadowed his contributions to music. Gary Glitter had significantly helped broaden glam rock's pop appeal. He was known for his flamboyant anthems and captivating live performances. Had it not been for his criminal record, he would still be recognized as an icon of the genre. His music was popular and influential, making him a memorable figure in the glam rock era. He had a distinct style that resonated with fans. After prison, Gadd attempted to start a new life outside of England, but he was repeatedly deported and banned from several countries for his continued actions. A conviction in Vietnam resulted in his deportation back to his homeland, where he was subsequently convicted of multiple serious offenses in 2015. Judge Alistair McQueen stated that the victims were profoundly affected by his actions. The Gary Glitter brand has now faded into obscurity, leaving behind only a criminal rejected by the whole world. These stars navigated a world built on glittering lies and golden contracts, but Ann-Margret's courage shattered that illusion. Her strength in finally speaking out proves that even decades of silence can't extinguish the truth. Her story isn't just one of survival, it's a defiant stand against the system that tried to break her. And while her revelations may shock Hollywood, they also spark a vital reckoning. But what other hidden horrors still lie beneath Tinseltown's polished surface? Don't miss out. If this glimpse into the darker side of fame moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to Iconic Inside, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next untold story. And before you go, check out our other videos for even more jaw-dropping secrets from Hollywood's shadowed past.